Aquarius, welcome to your reading for the month of January. This message is for Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. If you like the content that I share, please click the like and subscribe button down below. All right, Aquarius, I have pulled a card around your energy, your environment's energy, and an oracle card. I have some notes around your astrology right here, and I'm going to talk to you about those while I do your 9-card spread. Aquarius, you have Jupiter in your second house, and I literally wrote down in my notes the words cha-ching. It might be the title of this reading, actually. It's the planet of luck and expansion in your house of resources, your money, and your house of your self-worth. Aquarius, following, I want to say it was like about 2018, maybe 2019, you had some really difficult transits. It had to do with Saturn mostly being in your 12th house. And that was a time where you might have seen a lot of healing and growth. And now this year, 2021, this past year, you had Jupiter in your first house. This brought in probably a lot of luck and opportunity around your sense of self. You might have felt even more like alive and just in love with life a little bit differently over the course of this past year. It's also likely that you were an inspiration to a lot of people in your life because of your fun nature, especially in a year that was defined by so much restriction, so much uncertainty. And if you were just out living your life, loving life, it's highly likely that Aquarius was one of the signs that was really out here inspiring people. And that was supported with that Jupiter transit. But now that it moves into your second house, there could likely be more of a focus on your resources. It might come pretty naturally in terms of an increase in pay or anything like this. You also have Mars in your 11th house. And this transit could have you feeling pulled to connect more with your friends. That was weird. Especially if they're at a long distance from you. You might feel more of a drive to connect, to feel just really good in these conversations. Maybe where it's just a love fest, where both of you are just giving so much love and taking so much love and all of this. And yeah, there's something around that with that transit. That's interesting. But also with Mars in the 11th, it could bring from someone in your life, especially within your friend circle, some level of aggression or something just comes to light. And Aquarius, that came out in your energy cards as well. We'll talk about that because it feels like a pretty specific storyline. But that's reflected in that Mars through the 11th transit, this tendency of someone to be holding on to something, and maybe it comes to light, or vice versa. Maybe you've been needing to say something and you finally do, or something like that. I'd be careful with delivery at this time, and wherever you need to pull back your energy and rest is a great idea, especially while the sun is in your 12th house in Capricorn at the time when I'm doing this reading and the time when it will come out. When the sun is in the 12th, this is the perfect time to relax, to do what you need to do to restore your energy reserves, to prep for a season with a lot of activity, but also one where you just feel more inspired. Again, with that, feeling invigorated and feeling in love with your life and in love with life in general. And let's see what else. You do have Saturn in your first house. So something around, you might be feeling some kind of restriction. One way this could come out, just as an example, is in your workouts for some reason, this can have to do with some restriction around your physical body. So maybe, you want to be working out a certain way, you find that you can't, or there's some restriction around the way you want to exercise or something. Could also be a restriction around your diet and how you treat your body. Or maybe there's an environment at this time where, despite all that healing and growth that I mentioned in the beginning, maybe there's some environment where you don't feel free to show your true self and the expansiveness of your personality. There could be something around that as well. I would advise to find like-minded, that is too many, but I'll take that, to find like-minded people at this time and move forward in that direction. Places where you feel like you can authentically be you and speak your truth, I think are going to be really important for Aquarius. That's just important in general, but really important for you guys. After all, you've done a lot of really hard work these few years, and it's important that when you connect with people, when you are brave enough to be vulnerable, shine your light, that other people can meet you there, right? That people can like match that energy with you. So let's get into the cards. For your energy, you got the Page of Pentacles and the Two of Wands. This is a clear indicator of manifesting something brand new, whatever it is in your life. It does suggest that it's something very tangible and real. It could have to do with your resources, which Jupiter would be encouraging that, being in your second house. It's something that does seem just outside of your grasp, though, with this Page of Pentacles. You see how he's like reaching for that pentacle up there? I wouldn't worry, especially with the Two of Wands showing up here. Whatever this new endeavor or creative project, this may be like a new home, something like that. There's something around being patient here and just allowing the process to unfold, allowing the manifestation to like come to life. It doesn't mean there's no work to be done or no action that could be taken, but to rest in the assurance that things are already underway, especially if you've already done something tangible to move in this direction. In your environment, you got the Nine of Wands, the Eight of Swords, and the Eight of Wands. This seems like an opportunity was lost. Now, coming up in the environment, it could be someone external to you who feels like there's some missed opportunity, something that would have, some relationship that might have been like really passionate in your life. But also this could be some creative project that maybe as you wrap up 2021 or wrapped up 2021, there was something that you had to leave behind, something that you were very, very passionate about is indicated here. If you're very consciously aware that you had to leave something, you got the Bring Love into the Situation Moon card for your Oracle card. And this seems like bring love to yourself in this situation. If you know you had to leave something or someone maybe, and it could have had something to do around your own sense of stability. There's a need here to bring love to this situation, whether it's this person, to this person, and to yourself is what this seems like. This also is a new moon in Aquarius card, which is taking place, I believe, on February 1st. So there could be some significant thing that happens around February 1st for you, especially if this is something you've been trying to get off the ground and manifest, and you feel like an opportunity slipped away. Maybe this is a new investment of your energy, actually. Maybe it's a rekindling of something that was old, or trying to bring something back to life. Something like that. On a side note, on the bottom of the deck, you got the Lovers. Underneath that, you got the Devil, and then the Queen of Wands. And I saw this after I did your environment, and I like put the deck down. If there's anyone who's been doing like power struggle-y things with you, it could come to light around these Venus-Pluto conjunctions. We've already had one. That entire phase though, like the energy will still be around until like March 1st, even after the last Venus-Pluto conjunction. I'd be careful around anyone with any like power-hungry things. If anyone's trying to like hold anything over your head, or if you're doing this, Aquarius, that does not seem like a very Aquarius thing to do. But however this applies, there is a message here around like taking off the blindfold. If you've been wearing rose-colored glasses or something like that. And this feels like an actual like invested in relationship too. This doesn't feel like some, it doesn't feel like something not romantic or something Yeah, this feels like an investment. So just be careful with that if anyone's trying to do any sort of power struggle. Maybe there's like a stronger need to communicate. And maybe there's a stronger need to put out the energy into the world that isn't something you're going to tolerate. Maybe there's a strong need to put out the energy that people can't lord over you or something like that, that people can't control you. That in your relationships, there has to be this loving dynamic and someone who can meet you toe to toe. So that's a message too. All right, let's get into your reading. In the very middle of the 9-card spread, you got the Fool card. Definitely reiterating the manifestation of something new that you got in your cards as well. This is so bright and sunny. This is something so new, so fresh, and it seems like this might come about closer to your season, or maybe when the sun actually moves into Aquarius, which I believe is around like the 20th or the 21st of January. And the Strength card is your first card out. So going in to your season feeling revitalized, feeling renewed, feeling super strong and balanced, but also capable of moving into a greater state of maturity. Because the way she's taming this lion, it's like she's not trying to fight the lion. She's not trying to avoid the lion. She's just capable of being in the same space, even like hanging out with this lion, right? And is still capable of being super strong and confident in herself. So there's something around that. I love seeing that energy for you. And there's also a message here around victory with the 6 of Wands coming out next. Whatever you've been working on at this time, it looks as though it will be victorious, something you've invested a lot of time and energy into, and it will likely put you into the spotlight, 6 of Wands. There's something here around your reputation and career that gets highlighted, and maybe that's where Jupiter in the second comes into play. Maybe you're just now going into 2022 and seeing the fruits of your labor, something you've been working on for a very long time. And then middle right, you got the 4 of Swords, the Fool, and the Hierophant. Going back to that message about rest with the sun in your 12th house, that's showing up here with the 4 of Swords, especially if you're about to launch something brand new, go into this new direction, and maybe step up into some role of like leadership, especially if you're stepping up into new, like a new level in your relationship, something like that. There could be a need to like rest a lot at this time. I'm not sure what that's about. But this feels like putting yourself out in the spotlight when necessary, and then pulling back your energy and doing things maybe more alone, more in solitude. And maybe that's gonna like refill your cup. Pisces had a similar message to that. If you have significant Pisces placements, like your sun, moon, or rising, I'd check that one out as well. But yeah, you might be considering either stepping into a role of leadership at this time, especially if you're a teacher or you do anything like in any healing field. You also could be seeking out someone who identifies as a healer or a teacher or a guide. This could be a brand new thing for you, and something that maybe you've given a lot of thought to and wanted to do for some time, but you're actually making the change to do that in the month of January. It looks really promising. It looks really good. Ace of Swords underneath it. Whether this is you doing this or like stepping into this role or you seeking that person out, it's advised here. Bottom row is 9 of Swords, 3 of Cups, Ace of Swords. This is very, I don't know, it's kind of different, but it could relate to that message that I was getting off the bottom of the deck here. 9 of Swords, sleepless nights, potential PTSD. Around 3 of Cups, something that happened that was supposed to be happy and fun and light, and it wound up just going completely left. Like whatever this was, I don't know, I don't want to give a whole bunch of like random, you know, examples or really painful examples, but this is like, you go out, you know, yeah, I'm not gonna get into some stories actually. So 9 of Swords, 3 of Cups, Ace of Swords. Some truth about something, this could definitely be in your friendship group. Some truth came to light and you or someone else, I think this is you, maybe in your past, this made you really sad. Maybe you even had to go get like help for whatever this was, seeking out like a therapist or a teacher, a spiritual guru, something like that, to gain some clarity around what left you feeling in this headspace, Aquarius. And especially if this is coming to light for you with all these Venus retrogrades, you might need to speak your truth. You might write your truth, but really with the Ace of Swords, this is a strong energy of like speaking your truth. So you might be saying something to someone based on all of this hard work you've done in yourself, all that you've invested, especially if it's on like an emotional level. And it might be time, yeah, to bring some situation up to light. I'm looking now back at this bring love into the situation card, the oracle message for new moon in Aquarius, and that could be how that cycle wraps up as well. Some way of being where you might have silenced yourself or your voice in your relationships is coming to a close. That's beautiful. Yeah, I think there's been something that's just been stuck, and maybe in the past you've even thought about like picking up the phone and calling this person or speaking directly, bluntly your truth to this person, especially if this is someone you're currently in a relationship with. And maybe the things just need to get said. Maybe January is the month where that happens, or the end of February. Maybe it's around this new moon in Aquarius time. You could be one, if this comes out and you do wind up moving in a new direction, it looks extremely positive. The brightest cards on here, by the way, are the completely new direction cards, the movement cards, the strength, the 6 of Wands. Especially if you are doing this alone, there's a lot of support here with that, whatever this is, if you're doing it alone. All right, Aquarius, that's been your reading for the month of January. Again, if you like the content that I share, please click the like and subscribe down below, and I hope this was helpful. See you in February.